2 Giants episodes in 3 days? Is this real life? Anyway, we return here in the middle of September in the midst of our chase to win the division and hopefully get a top 2 seed within the National League. As it stands now, we are tied for first place with San Diego at 89 and 58. We've got 5 more series left to go here in the regular season. Last episode was certainly up and down. We started by getting swept by Tampa Bay, just the 3rd time we've been swept all season. We then allowed 3 consecutive walk-off losses, dropping 2 against the Phillies and 1 against the Cubs. But we did win 4 of our final 5 games to get back on track with some wild performances offensively. The lineup appears to really have caught a stride down the stretch, while our pitching rotation, particularly the starters who have been, well, the best rotation in baseball, they're losing some steam here down the stretch in the regular season, and that cannot carry over into the postseason. Otherwise, we will have no chance. So as it stands now, again, we're tied with the Padres. We have 3 games against them today, and we're 5.5 ahead of the Dodgers for first place in the division. We're also chasing for the number 2 seed, which currently belongs to the Cubs, while Atlanta sits in first place. We went into detail in the last episode why I think getting the 2 seed matters so much. I don't think there's a huge difference between the 1st seed and the 2nd seed. I don't think there's that much of a difference between the 3rd seed and the 4th seed, but there's a huge difference between 2 and 3 because the top 2 seeds skip out on the wild card round entirely. They don't have to go through that best of 3 series in which anything can happen. It's baseball. Things get weird. And I want to avoid a possible best of 3 wild card matchup at all costs. I'd rather go into the divisional round not having to worry about that, and I think the advantage of being the 2 seed is that we get to play either 3 or 6, and usually those are the worst 2 teams in the playoff picture, even worse than the 4 and 5 wild cards. The one downside of getting the 2nd seed is that if we play the number 1 in the NLCS, we wouldn't get home field advantage, but that still would require both teams to get there. So along with the Padres, we've got 4 other series, 3 of which are at home. We only have 3 road games the rest of the year. We start against the Pirates, who are red hot. Then after San Diego, we head to Arizona. Then we play the Brewers, and then we've got the Diamondbacks again. So it's not going to be an easy stretch of games, but it's not as hard as the Padres. Their next 9 are against the Cubs, us, and then the Cubs. And then after that, they've got 3 more against the Dodgers. 12 consecutive games with no days off against playoff teams. And then it gets a lot easier at the end. They get to play the Rockies. But that is a brutal schedule that they've got to deal with. Obviously, we want to win the division over them. Hopefully get the 2 seed, get the first round bye, and go into the NLDS feeling good with home field advantage, not worrying about the wild card. We've made some changes to the lineup with Jorge Soler breaking his hand. Luis Matos and Hunter Bishop have been called upon to hopefully give us some good reps. Soler's obviously an important player. He's been in pretty much every game this year. He has his limitations, but obviously he's a great power hitter. He drives guys in. And with this being the last year of his deal, there's a chance that we've seen the end of Jorge Soler in a Giants uniform. Of course, the pitching has been inconsistent as of recent, including the top guys. Now, Logan Webb is still 2nd for Cy Young, and Aaron Savale is still 1st for NL Pitching War. But both of them have struggled over their last couple of starts, and hopefully it does not continue. Those might be the 2 most important players on this roster going into the postseason. The bullpen as well, outside of Duvall, continues to be shaky, so we need more consistency from the pitching, who did not have a good 2-week stretch at all in the last episode. So we're going to simulate these 3 games against the Pirates. I really want to focus on the series against San Diego because that is the most important regular season series that we've had in the entire series so far. So let's hop into this game here against the Pirates. 4-3 into the bottom of the 9th, but we've got a runner on and nobody out for Tommy Rogers, who's been on a tear really since the All-Star break. And that's a tough pitch to take, but ultimately he does, even in the count at 2-2. But he strikes out on the very next pitch, going down on the splitter. Big strikeout from the All-Star closer, David Bednar. That brings up Blake Sabol with his 99 clutch rating, the guy you want up here. And he draws a walk. That works. The winning run is now on base. 2 on, 1 away for Jonathan India, coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. India's given us some clutch hits over the series, but he strikes out on the 12-6, and he is frustrated with himself. And ultimately, the game comes down to J.P. Crawford. Again, one of the guys you want up in this scenario, rips it into right for a hit. Murakami will go. The play at the plate, it'll be close, and it's not in time. In a normal instance, we would not have sent him. But given where we are in this game, we felt like it was worth the risk, and it pays off. Bednar's yanked. He'll be replaced by Eric Lauer. And we'll see if the Giants are able to walk it off with a winning run on second. Heliot Ramos is up here for San Francisco. First pitch swinging, grounded to short. O'Neal Cruz makes the play, and the Pirates get out of it. We're going to extras. Our team has played so many games over the last few weeks in extra innings. I guess one more doesn't hurt. Top 10, 2 on, 1 out. O'Neal Cruz reaches off a walk. So now Randall Grichuk gets a big opportunity, looking to put the Pirates back ahead, but he goes down on the fastball. Full count as well. Nice pitch from Aniel de los Santos, whose whip this year is currently below 1. That'll bring up Edmundo Sosa into Triples Alley. That should score both runs. Rogers gets to it quickly. O'Neal Cruz rounds third. It's going to be a close play at the plate. The throw from DeZenzo is not in time. 2-run double for Edmundo Sosa, and the Pirates lead 6-4. Nick Gonzalez now pops it up into the infield. Stone Garrett is under it. He will make the grab, but not before Pittsburgh takes the lead with the 2-out, 2-run double by Edmundo Sosa. That'll bring us into the bottom of the 10th. 4 runs on 15 hits today for the Giants. Stone Garrett batting in the leadoff spot in this game. He's 4 for 5, looking for another hit. Sends it into center. That one will be caught, and we are not going to send the runner. We need 2 runs rather than 1, so it doesn't really make sense to be aggressive with this first guy. The former Pirate Leover Peguero comes in off the bench, and this one is lined up the middle, but it will be caught for the second out of the inning, and now this game comes down to Jung-Hoo Lee. Certainly the guy you would want up in this scenario to try to keep the game alive, and he hits this one pretty high and pretty deep into center. But it should be caught pretty easily as the Pittsburgh Pirates take this one by the final score of 6-4. And it's also worth noting that they won the first game 8-0. Obviously, the Giants could not afford to lose many more games the rest of the way, so this is not ideal. 6 runs, 12 hits today for the Pirates. Nobody in particular really stood out. Obviously, Edmundo Sosa had the big play late. Hayes and Grichuk homer. Decent start for Ronzi Contreras, although he did allow a lot of base runners. 4 hits for Garrett, 3 for Murakami. Kyle Harrison was okay, not his best stuff, but he's been worse. This game looks a lot better. 8-0 into the 9th inning. Robbie Ray is looking for the shutout as he makes a really nice play for the first out of the inning, scooping what could have been a base hit away from Connor Joe. Jared Triolo pops this one into foul territory. Looks like it should be caught by Peguero, and it will for the second out of the inning. We'll see if Ray can shut the door. Lefty on lefty crime with O'Neal Cruz. The 101st pitch of the day is a grounder to short. Play is made, and that'll do it. An 8-0 victory here for the San Francisco Giants as they shut out the Pirates, winning 8-0. Certainly good to rebound after losing the first 2 games of the series. It's definitely not ideal to only take 1, but at least we were able to avoid another sweep, and we've got a little bit of momentum going into our 3-game set against San Diego. Obviously, Robbie Ray led the way, only letting up 2 hits, 3 walks, and obviously no runs. The Pirates just got nothing against him whatsoever. As for us, an unlikely group of heroes lead the way offensively. 3 hits for Luis Matos and 3 hits for Zach DeZenzo, who also drove in 4 runs, including his first home run of the year. So a good way to end this series in, again, what otherwise was not a particularly good stretch of games. But we're in first place in the division because the Padres got swept by the Cubs. It's nice that San Diego lost these games, but it is a little bit bittersweet because even though we are now in first place, it doesn't matter that much considering the Cubs are able to up their gap between second place and third place. Winning the division doesn't matter that much unless we end up with the 2 seed. So it would have almost been better if the Padres won a game or 2 there. And Chicago's really played well despite a gauntlet of a schedule here in September. The only series they've lost so far is the one against us. They'll still play San Diego again, followed by 3 in Cincinnati, and then 3 against the Braves. But I'm worried those last 6 games might not matter if the Reds are already out of the playoffs and if the Braves have already clinched the #1 seed. So there's a chance the only games that matter for the other team are the matchups against the Padres, who we also need to lose. So we certainly find ourselves in a predicament, but if we do play really well over these last 12 games, we can put ourselves in a good spot for the 2 seed. So rather than worrying about San Diego and Chicago, we need to worry about us, focusing on winning these games. I think if we win 8 or 9 plus games the rest of the way, we, at the bare minimum, put ourselves in a good spot to get that 2 seed. And that starts with game 1 of 3 here against San Diego. I wanted to play this first matchup. I want to set the tone, get the series started right with a win. Whichever team wins the series will take the division lead, being that these 2 teams are currently separated by half a game, with the Giants currently edging San Diego. Pause. But nonetheless, these 3 games are the most important of this entire franchise series thus far. The 2 aces will be on the mound today. For the Giants, it's Logan Webb. He was tremendous over his first 6 or 7 starts after the All-Star break, but he's really cooled off as of recent. Still in second place for the Cy Young, but I'm hoping that he's going to bounce back today after some struggles as of recent. He's looking good early, looking to retire the side, but Manny Machado has other plans. This one is sent into the gap out in left center. Tommy gets to it quickly, but that will be a 2-out double for Manny Machado, who certainly has not had as good of a season as he did last year with his OPS above 1,000 a season ago. We'll see if they can drive him in. It's Fernando Tatis Jr. with a full count, swinging a miss on the slider, and Logan Webb gets through the inning, only having allowed the 1 hit. Let's take a look at Joe Musgrove, one of the more consistent arms you'll find in our league. 3.16 ERA, 1.04 whip. He's never a guy at the top of the Cy Young conversations, but he has been a steady pitcher for a long time now. He looks to retire this side as Murakami, who has been unbelievable here in September, grounds out to short. Ha-Seong Kim makes the play. And we have no score going into the 2nd inning. We'll see if the Padres can look to get something going here as the former Giant Lamont Wade is up with 2 away and a 1-1 count. This one is flown into left. Hunter Bishop getting the start as he makes the grab. Bishop has played a little bit so far in the big leagues. He really hasn't done anything yet. Still looking for hit number 1 as he makes the play for the final out of the inning. And that'll bring us into the bottom of the 2nd. J.P. Crawford starts things off here. He as well has had a tremendous month of September. The average up to 276 as this ball is high and deep and to right. Back at the track, at the wall, it's caught by Tatis. That ball would be a home run in a lot of ballparks, but not here. Triples Alley remains undefeated. Blake Sabol now up for the Giants, and he skies this one into center. Looks like Jazz Chisholm is under it, and it'll be a 1-2-3 inning. 6 up, 6 down for Joe Musgrove. He has looked awfully good so far. Both pitchers have looked really good up to this point, and it looks like we could be in for a pitching duel as both of these offenses are hurting through the first 2 innings, and that brings us into inning number 3. Tommy Edman gets things started for San Diego. He goes down on the slider. Nice pitch there by Logan Webb as he now faces off against the talented young catcher Ethan Salas, and he goes down on the fastball. We'll see if Logan Webb can retire this side. We'll see if he can strike out this side as it's a full count here for the top of the order. Ha-Seong Kim, an impending free agent this offseason, as he takes the high slider for ball 4, and the Padres get themselves a base runner. That'll bring up Xander Bogaerts. 2-2. This one is hit into no man's land. It will perfectly drop in right center. Kim makes his way to third, and all of a sudden things get interesting. 2 on, 2 out. Some of San Diego's best hitters are due up, and that starts with Manny Machado. 3-1. Draws a walk. After starting the inning strong, Logan Webb has led up 3 consecutive base runners, and the bases are loaded now for Fernando Tatis Jr. Grounded to third. Murakami makes the play, and the Padres leave them loaded. It feels really nice to be on the other side of that, which I don't get to say too often, but we're going to enjoy it. Let's go to the bottom of the 3rd. Kyler Rodriguez grounds this one over to short. Play is made there by Ha-Seong Kim, but there is some concern on the field with Joe Musgrove clutching at his elbow. And when you hear elbow injury and pitchers, that's a scary duo. You think Tommy John. So let's hope for Joe Musgrove's sake it's not worst case. He will have to come out of the game. He'll be replaced by Glenn Otto. Certainly not ideal for San Diego because Musgrove has not let up a base runner yet. Now they have to go to the bullpen completely unprepared, which shifts the entire game plan around. Hunter Bishop will be his first batter, and he strikes out on the slider. Still without a hit so far in his big league career. I'm hoping today will be the day that changes. Tommy Rogers has been exceptional as of recent, really breaking onto the scene as a star, but he grounds it out to third. Another 1-2-3 inning, but it does not go well for San Diego regardless, as Joe Musgrove taken out of the game due to an injury. Nonetheless, it's 9 up, 9 down for the Padres pitching staff, and that brings us into the fourth. Jazz Chisholm leads things off, 1-1, fouls it off. But on the play, Logan Webb got hurt, and I accidentally clicked out of the injury screen super quickly. So who knows what the injury is. We're going to have to take him out of the game. He'll be replaced by Michael Kopech. Obviously, in the short term, this sucks. Logan Webb has been phenomenal tonight. But if we look at this more in terms of a macro perspective, this could be really bad news. If our ace is out for an extended period of time, we're in trouble. As Jazz Chisholm strikes out, good pitch by Michael Kopech, who has come into the game to replace Webb. Lamont Wade grounds it to short. Crawford makes the play. It's a 1-2-3 inning, but again, did not go as we would have hoped. Joe Musgrove and Logan Webb were both tremendous early in this game, but both of them have had to be replaced due to injury. Bottom four, Jun-Hoo Lee goes down looking. The Giants still without a base runner, by the way. It is technically a perfect game as of now. But Munetaka Murakami will change that as he takes ball 4 looking at the inside slider. And finally, the Giants get a base runner at long last. J.P. Crawford now sends this one into the gap. First hit of the game, and it could kill the shutout as well. Murakami rounds third. Heads home. The play at the plate is not in time. RBI double for J.P. Crawford. His 34th two-bagger of the year. And it's 1-0 Giants as San Francisco's on the board trying to get some momentum with the injury to their star pitcher as Jonathan India goes down on the slider, and that will wrap up the bottom of the fourth. San Francisco puts 1 on the board, though, and that brings us into the fifth. We are going to keep Kopech in the game. We're hoping to get a couple innings out of him as he starts with Tommy Edman, and he goes down on the inside curveball. Great pitch there by Kopech for the first out of the inning. Ethan Salas now, full count, draws a walk. Base runner here for San Diego as the youngster is aboard. Back to the top of the order. Hassan Kim grounds it to third. Murakami deflects the ball. Throw to first is not in time. Infield single for Kim. And now the Padres have 2 aboard for Xander Bogaerts. This one is hit into right. That goes for a hit. Salas looks to score. Going to be a close play. Throw to the plate is just barely not in time. A bullet from Lee, but Salas is safe, and this game is tied at 1. We're going to take Kopech out and replace him with Daniel De Los Santos. We're hoping he can get us out of the jam. He's the middle reliever that I feel like we trust the most. He's allowed a few runs here and there, but he doesn't let up base runners consistently. 2 away, runners on the corners. It's a base hit for Fernando Tatis Jr. Run scores from third, and the Padres take the lead. It's 2-1. Jazz Chisholm now singles into center. Another run looks to score. The throw from Rogers is a beauty, but it's not in time, and now the Padres lead 3-1. Their offense has caught fire. The 1-2 for Tyler O'Neill. He chases the slider. That'll wrap up the fifth. Not a particularly good inning for the Giants pitching staff as they let up 3. All 3 earned runs will be let up by Kopech. Bottom 5, Blake Sabol with a rocket into center field. 117 off the bat. It goes for just the second hit of the game for the Giants as they get a runner aboard here to start the inning. The offense certainly looks a lot better after their slow start. Hopefully they can keep it going. As Kyler Rodriguez puts it up the middle, this could be 2. 1, 4, 3. No, he's safe! Good hustle by Kyler Rodriguez, and the door is back open in this inning for the Giants. And it will be immediately slammed in their face. 6-4-3 double play off the bat of Hunter Bishop. Padres turn 2. They hold on to their 3-1 lead as that will bring us into the 6th. Another pitching change for San Francisco. Tristan Beck comes into the game. He hasn't pitched a ton this year, and when he has, he hasn't been all that effective. ERA right at around 5. We'll see if he's able to get through this inning pretty quickly as he starts with his former teammate, Lamont Wade, who bloops this one into left. That'll go for a hit, though. And so the Padres open up the frame with an early base runner. We'll see if they can look to capitalize and add to the lead with the bottom of the order due up. That starts with Tommy Edman. He's got a full count, and he swings way too early at the changeup. That was his pitch, but he got a little excited. 2 gone for Ha-Seong Kim, singles into center. So now the Padres have a nice little opportunity here. 2 on, 2 out. Xander Bogaerts has had a productive day. 2 for 3, drove in a run earlier, and he's looking to do so again. Rips this one into triples alley. Rogers is moving quickly, but both runs should score as it's now 4-1, and the second is in to make it 5-1. 2-run double for Bogaerts, and that will double the lead for San Diego. We're going to take Beck out of the game. He'll be replaced by Yariel Rodriguez, who's been inconsistent this year, but hopefully he can get the Giants out of the inning without too much trouble, as he will face off against Manny Machado. 1 for 2. He's reached base a couple times here, looking to add to the lead for San Diego. The 2-2. Hits it sharply to third. Murakami makes the play. Throw to first is offline! A throwing error from Munetaka Murakami, and this inning will continue. This game is slipping away from the Giants fast. They've got to get a grasp on this one quickly as Tatis does chase the slider. That'll wrap up the 6th. San Diego adds to their lead with a 2-run double by Xander Bogaerts, and that'll make it 5-1. The offense has got to get it going. We've got 2 hits in this game. Tommy Rogers looks to make it 3, as that one is off the wall and right. Rogers makes it to second. He is in with a double, and of course, Tommy Rogers is the guy you want on base with his electrifying speed. He's already got 25 doubles on the year. We'll see if Stone Garrett can look to drive him in. Hits it well over to second. Play is made, but Rogers moves over to third. Now, the problem is there's 2 outs, and they're going to need a base hit from Munetaka Murakami to bring him home. We'll see if the Giants can look to cut into this lead as the count is even. 2-2 for Munetaka Murakami, and he lines this one into left, and it will be caught. Still 5-1 going into the 7th. The Giants got to get something going fast. The offense has been mediocre. The pitching since Logan Webb has come out of the game has not been good. Jazz Chisholm up the middle. Another base hit for San Diego as they continue to pour them on. And we'll see if they can add to their lead here in this inning as well. Chisholm's aboard for Tyler O'Neill. He fishes on the slider. Rodriguez's slider has looked really good in this game. He's had 2 really impressive Ks with the slider. As Lamont Wade puts it on the ground, Garrett tags first, looks to turn 2, throw to second, is not in time. So Jazz Chisholm is in scoring position. That'll bring up Tommy Edman. He flies it into right. Jun-Hoo Lee is under it, and he will make the play. So the Giants get through the inning. Good job out of the bullpen by Yariel Rodriguez as it remains 5-1. Pitching change for San Diego. Got to give Glenn Otto a ton of credit coming out of the bullpen unprepared. And he pitched a really good game. Nearly 4 innings, only allowing 1 run, and he'll be replaced by Zach Little. Jonathan India is up with 1 away, hits it up the middle. That goes for a hit. The Giants have hit the ball a little bit better as the game has gone along. They still haven't hit it well, but I guess this is marginal improvement. 2 away for Kyler Rodriguez. Hits a liner into center, but it will be caught by Jazz. Still 5-1 now as we move into the 8th. Into the game out of the bullpen for San Francisco will be the lefty, Genesis Cabrera, who's been up and down this year. Started slow, then he was doing really well. Now he's not doing as well. ERA at 5.24 in a little over 34 innings this year as he faces off against Ha-Seong Kim. He goes down on the circle change for the second out of the inning. Cabrera looking to retire the side now. He's got Xander Bogaerts 3 for 4. He's driven in multiple runs in multiple at-bats, but he goes down on the off-speed curve. Good inning for Cabrera, retires the side, and that brings us into the bottom of the 8th with the veteran righty Robert Suarez coming in for the Padres. If San Francisco wants to come back, they've got to stack base runners. That's their best chance of opening the door in this game. Elliot Ramos, 3-1 into the gap, and Ramos comes off the bench as a pinch hitter with a base hit. That's a good start. Let's do that a couple more times. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Tommy Rogers. 1 for 2, base hit in his last at bat. And he sends this one into the opposite field. That one should go for extra bases. Heliot Ramos is going to hold up at third. There's no reason to be aggressive and send him with nobody out. But nonetheless, 2 runners in scoring position to start the inning for the top of the order. What a perfect start here for the Giants. But they've got to keep moving. 3-2. Jung-Hoo Lee draws a walk. Not an easy pitch to take. And with that, the bases are loaded. Tying run is up. Nobody out. 2, 3, 4 hitters at the plate. There's no way we screw this over, right? Stone Garrett strikes out. Munetaka Murakami pops this one into the shallow infield. That one will be caught by Machado. And within a matter of seconds, there's 2 outs, and now we need a base hit. But luckily, it's J.P. Crawford coming up to the plate. Certainly one of the guys you want here in this scenario, as he gets the pitch to hit, but he got a little bit aggressive and swings early. That one is fouled off. Count is full now with the bases loaded, 2 away. Tying run is up. Everybody's going as Crawford flies it into left. Could it drop? It does not. We loaded the bases with nobody out, and some of our best hitters due up. It's pretty much borderline impossible to not score anybody. And sure enough, as you would expect, we found a way not to score anybody. That was our opportunity to come back into the game, and we ripped it up and flushed it down the toilet. Into the 9th, we'll see if the Giants can make a miracle as Fernando Molina is out of the bullpen. The young righty's had his ups and downs through his first few weeks in the big leagues as he strikes out Manny Machado. Now against Fernando Tatis, 2-2, goes down on the slider. Molina looking good here. We'll see if he can retire this side as it's Jazz Chisholm. Count is even at 1-1. This one is grounded past the diving glove of Jonathan India, just barely. 2-out single for Jazz Chisholm. The Padres get another base runner. They've done their most damage today with 2 outs, so hopefully that trend does not continue. 2-2 here for Tyler O'Neill, 0 for 4 in this one, and he goes down looking on the curveball. Pretty good inning from Molina, and that'll bring us into the bottom of the 9th. The Giants had their golden opportunity to score in the last inning. They did not, and they will be lucky to have the same opportunity again. But it is Luis Patino in the game. His ERA starts with the number 6. I'm not sure why the Padres are going this route, so maybe the door is open as Jonathan India leads it off with a walk. But now there's 2 outs. 2-2 for Hittin' Heliot. And Ramos goes down looking on the slider. That'll do it. 5-1. The Padres win the first of 3 here in San Francisco. And with that, the Padres just have to win one of these last 2 games, and they will leave this series with the division lead. The unfortunate thing about this game is we had our opportunity in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bases loaded. Nobody out. And we didn't do it. 5 runs for San Diego, all of which came in the middle of this game, and I think that was directly because of Logan Webb's injury. If he doesn't get hurt, there's no way they bring all those runs across, but playing devil's advocate, Joe Musgrove also got injured, and the Padres bullpen did a tremendous job with him out of the game. So if they're able to do it, why can't our relievers, who are probably a little bit better than ours, do it as well? So ultimately, we take the loss. The pitching was subpar. The offense was a disaster for the most part. And we've got to win these last 2 games if we want to hold on to first place in the division. We cannot let the Padres get some momentum going into that Cubs series and continue to run away with things. So we've got to win these 2 games. I'm going to simcast through both of them. I don't want to play one of them because I don't want too much influence over this series, and I want to play against a different team in the second game today. But considering how important these 2 matchups are, we're going to simcast them, and if they get close down the stretch, we will hop in. So that starts with Game 2. Aaron Savale on the bump. He's been cold as of recent, facing off against the former Giant, Michael Lorenzen. The Padres are starting their B team here. No Tatis and no Machado, as Savale gets through the first inning pretty easily. Lorenzen allows a single, but nothing more into the second. 2 early base hits for San Diego. Now the bases are loaded, and we get out of the inning. The Padres leave them loaded, but they're continuing to hit the ball well. 5 hits through 3 innings, but they haven't been able to score. Rogers gets to second off of an error. That's a nice opportunity for us to do some damage, but we do not. Savale retires the side in the top of the 4th. Bottom half of the inning, we get a pair of walks with 1 away. Great opportunity to get some runs. Fielder's choice, walk, bases are loaded, and Luis Matos grounds out. So even in the simcast, we leave him loaded. The Padres take the lead with a single from Edman. Bases loaded, and we get out of the inning. Another bases loaded jam. The Padres do get 1, though. As Rogers gets on, he steals a base and scores, tying the game at 1. It's Jung-Hoo Lee who brings him in, and we're going to take Savale out of the game after 5. He's only let up 1 run, but he's allowed a lot of base runners. The Padres have had him loaded twice. De Los Santos is not looking too good here. He has loaded the bases now. We're going to take him out for James Karinchak, and he gets out of the inning. The Padres have left him loaded now 3 times today. Now they know how we feel. But we're not capitalizing. 1 run off of 3 hits here in the bottom of the 7th, but now we're getting some offense, and we take the lead. Jung-Hoo Lee with an RBI single. Bases are loaded. Ground out. And I'm going to hop into the game here in the 8th inning. That way, if there's any more bases loaded situations, we can watch the team fail instead of watching them fail in Simcast. So A.J. Minter is in for the Giants here in the 8th with a 1-run lead as he strikes out Tyler O'Neill. That's a good start to the inning. The native of Canada goes down on strikes. Manny Machado comes in off the bench, and he delivers as it gets by India for a base hit. And interestingly, the Padres would go to a pinch runner here with Fernando Tatis Jr. I get going with the pinch runner, but why not save Tatis to be a pinch hitter later so you can have him up offensively? Tatis goes for second. He is safe. So at least they had him be aggressive on the base pass, and it worked. So there's a runner in scoring position now. Lamont Wade is a really good clutch hitter, as we know. But he goes down looking on the fastball. Huge pitch by A.J. Minter. And now it's up to Jake Cronenworth. Welcome to the Crone Zone. But he flies it into right. Jung-Hoo Lee is under it. He'll make the play, and that brings us to the middle of the 8th. We're up, and we get Camilo Duvall in for the 9th. So we're in a good spot, but it's only a 1-run game. Ryan Thompson out of the bullpen here for the Padres in the bottom half of the inning. Certainly would not hurt to add some insurance and look to add to the lead. As Blake Sabol gets things started, draws a walk on the low sinker. Just got to stack some base runners as that brings up Zach DeZenzo, who's been playing a lot more as of recent, and he's performed quite well with the increased role. But right as I'm gassing him up, he grounds into a double play. Not great. 2 away, that'll bring up Kyler Rodriguez. He entered the game earlier as a pinch hitter, got a base hit, and scored. Looking for another one as the bat goes flying. Okay, all right. After that, the count is even at 2-2 with nobody on and 2 away. Here's the pitch from the sidearm righty Ryan Thompson as this one is flown into center. And it should be caught near the warning track, and it will by Jazz Chisholm. So it's 2-1 going into the top of the 9th, and that means it is closing time. Arguably the best reliever in baseball, Camilo Duvall, looks to shut the door here for the Giants, even the series at 1, and give us back what's ours. First place within the division. Duvall obviously has had a tremendous season this year. 42 of 46 in save ops, ERA at 1.01. So if he does not allow a run here, his ERA will be below 1. We'll start with Ha-Seong Kim, who goes down on the cutter for out number 1. That's a good start. Tommy Edman now has had a big day, 3 for 4, as he rips this one into right field. 103 off the bat, it goes off the wall, and Lee misplays it. Rogers gets to it quickly, but it fields it slowly. Edman heads for third. The throw is not in time. It's a triple for Tommy Edman. The outfielders, mainly Lee, really were lollygagging to get that ball. And now the Padres have a runner 90 feet away from home. And we're going to be gutsy here with Jazz Chisholm. And we're going to intentionally walk him. I want to get a runner on first, even though, yes, it is the go-ahead run. But I want to give the opportunity for a ground ball to lead to a double play to end the game. This is really risky, but it could pay off. Adames flies it into right. Jung-Hoo Lee is under it. That should be more than enough room, though, for Edman to look to score. The play at the plate will not be in time. It's a successful sacrifice. Camilo Duvall with a rare blown save. I think that's just his 5th of the year and only the 7th earned run he's let up this year. As Campusano flies it into center, caught by Rogers. So luckily Chisholm off the intentional walk will not score. But this game is tied. The Padres do get a run off of Duvall, and now the offense has got to get something going. 9-1-2 hitters due up. I think this is a good combination here as we start with Tommy Rogers. If he gets on base, we know he is a major threat. That's a tough pitch to lay off, but he does. Slider barely outside of the zone. I love seeing the plate discipline here from our young star. We're up the middle, base hit. So Tommy Rogers is aboard, and the winning run is on. And it's not just any winning run. It's the fastest man in baseball. Do we have him steal second, though, is the question. I think with nobody out, it doesn't really make sense to be ultra aggressive. If there's 2 outs, maybe you look at it. But with nobody out, there's no reason to. It's too early. Jung-Hoo Lee hits this one high and deep in left center, but it is caught at the wall. Rogers retreats back to first as there's one away. Got to look out for a possible ground ball. Could be a double play, even though Rogers and Stone Garrett are both pretty fast. Garrett's behind 1-2, and he rips this one into the gap. That's going to do it. Nobody is going to be able to catch up to Tommy Rogers as he's rounding third, headed home, and this game is over. A walk-off double for Stone Garrett. Tommy Rogers, the winning run, as the Giants take the second of 3 here against San Diego, doing it in walk-off fashion. Last episode, we lost because of 3 walk-offs in a row? It's nice to get one back, especially in a game as big as this one. Shout out to Stone Garrett, who has delivered big hit after big hit since we acquired him during the trade deadline back at the end of July. Tommy Rogers with 3 hits in this one, including the game-winning run. Tommy Edman had 4 for San Diego, including the game-tying run. Their pitching staff was pretty solid. Really good start from Lorenzen. Where was this last season? The bullpen, though, for them was a little bit spotty. Jung-Hoo Lee had a good game along with Rogers. The rest of the team only had 3 hits, but one of them, of course, the winner from Garrett. Aaron Savale really wasn't great. He only let up 1 run, but I expect more out of him. The bullpen was pretty good, though, ultimately leading to the win. We're back in first place, but we still have 1 more. We still have to win this game if we want to hold on to first place. The knuckleballer Matt Waldron faces off against the flamethrower Mason Miller. I feel like Miller from a start-to-start basis is really inconsistent. He has some great outings and some not-so-great outings, so it's nice seeing him getting through the first inning pretty quickly. Going into the bottom half of the inning, you'll notice a pretty big change to the lineup. Tommy Rogers is DHing and he's hitting leadoff. The decision to have him play DH is more so because I want to keep him energized. This is his first full professional season, and I don't want him playing every day defensively. I don't want to wear him out before the playoffs. But the big thing is he's leading off, and the reason why we had him at the back of the lineup is because he was one of our lesser offensive players, but now he's one of our best hitters, and I want him at the top. Into the second. Big inning for the Padres. They're up 4-0 with an RBI single by Campusano and a 3-run homer by the former Giant Lamont Wade. Luckily, the runs would stop there, but already a pretty big deficit. Not a good start for Mason Miller. But we get 2 back. It's Tommy Rogers with a 2-run shot. I see he's adjusting to his new role pretty well so far as that brings us into the 4th. I thought about taking Mason Miller out. He allows a couple base runners, but he gets out of the inning. Bottom 4, Crawford gets on by a walk, but we don't do any more damage. Miller makes it through the 5th pretty quickly, so it's still 4-2. And I think this is where we're going to take him out. He really only had the 1 bad inning, but his day will be done after 5. Fernando Molina looks to get out of the 6th, and he will as it's still 4-2. Garrett with a walk. We're going to have him steal, but ultimately it wouldn't matter because J.P. Crawford ties it with a 2-run shot, and we're knotted up at 4. All of a sudden, this game just got real interesting. Genesis Cabrera out of the bullpen retires the side. Waldron replaced by Zach Little. He allows a base hit to Liover Peguero. We're going to pinch hit for Hunter Bishop, who did get his first base hit earlier in this game. He was the other run that scored with the homer by Rogers. Peguero steals. He makes it to 3rd with a base hit for Kyler Rodriguez. And now there's runners on the corners. What an opportunity for Tommy as he pops out, as does Jung-Hoo Lee. So it's still tied at 4. This is where we're going to hop in here into the top of the 8th. A.J. Minter out of the bullpen here for San Francisco as the Giants possibly look for another walk-off win. It'd be their 2nd consecutive if they're able to pull it off. Of course, with first place in the division on the line for both teams in their final regular season matchup of the year. Jazz Chisholm hits it high and deep to the track, but Kyler Rodriguez playing center today, not his natural position, but he is able to track it down. Campusano rips this one into the gap, perfectly placed into Triples Alley. That'll be extras for Campusano, and the Padres get a runner in scoring position here. We'll see if they can do some damage, take the lead, and drive him in. It's Tyler O'Neill, who hits lefties really well. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He goes down way too early on the fastball. Got a little bit antsy there. And A.J. Minter gets through the inning. That'll send us into the bottom of the 8th. Into the game for San Diego will be Robert Suarez. The back-end relievers for this Padres team have not had very good seasons. I don't really know why they didn't make any splashes to the bullpen at the deadline, because it seems like they could have really used some. Stone Garrett is up. Garrett had the walk-off in the game last night. As he looks at a fastball right down the middle, he was looking for the walk there with a full count. And, well, he probably should have swung the bat. 1-2 here for Crawford. He's had a great game, but he goes down looking on the sliders. We're still tied at 4 going into the 9th. I thought about bringing Camilo Duvall in, being that he is our best pitcher, and he gives us the best opportunity to win in regulation. But we're going to hold off from that for now. Instead, it'll be James Karinchak, who's been up and down since the trade deadline. Certainly not as good as he was in Cleveland, but he had to get hit by the Giants bullpen curse, so it was bound to happen. Sam Haggerty draws a walk, leadoff runner here for the Padres. Haggerty will look to steal second, and this play should not even be close. He's out by a mile. That was a horrible throw as well by Blake Sabol, but Haggerty just timed that so poorly. Sabol did not even need a good throw, clearly, to throw him out. That'll bring up Tommy Edman, who's played well in this series, but he goes down on the knuckle curve, and he does not like it. But that pitch was certainly in the zone. That'll bring up Kim. He's 0 for 4. Grounds it over to third. Murakami fields it nicely. Throw to first is in time. Good inning for Karinchak. Still tied at 4 as we go into the bottom of the 9th looking for another walk-off. 6, 7, 8 hitters due up. That starts with Ramos, and that's called ball 3. Suarez doesn't like it, and to be honest, I don't blame him. That was a strike. That one goes off of Suarez's leg. Machado tries to get to it quickly. Throw to first is not in time. Infield single for Heliot Ramos as Suarez appears to be banged up after the fact. The Padres did get kind of screwed there. That should have been called strike 3. Credit to Heliot Ramos for taking advantage of the opportunity and also running that one out to give the Giants a leadoff runner. That'll bring up Blake Sabol. Count is full. Draws a walk on the low inside sinker. And now there's 2 runners on to start the inning for Liover Peguero. Base hit probably ends the game as Peguero pops it up, frustrated with himself. He knew he had a chance to finish it, but it is going to be caught for the first out of the inning by Cronenworth. And now the Padres are going to make another switch, going to Luis Patino. Again, I don't get the obsession with him being one of your high-leverage relievers. His ERA starts with the number 6. Patino should be an innings eater, not a guy who's in a tie game in the bottom of the 9th in your most important game of the year. As Kyler Rodriguez flies this one into center, that one will be caught, and there's no reason to tag the runner up. If we get a base hit here, we're probably going to score him from second regardless. 2 away, 2 on, 2 outs. And it's the rookie sensation, Tommy Rogers, homered earlier in this game. He's 6 for 11 in the series against San Diego, continuing his big month of September. As he checks swung on the sinker, and to be honest, that was his pitch. He should have went full throttle. He timed it well, too. Could have ended the game there with a walk-off hit. Now he's behind 1-2, and he hits this one high and pretty deep in the left center. I don't think it's got enough carry. The Giants started the inning with 2 early base runners, but as you can imagine, they don't drive them in, and we are going to move into the 10th. Another tie game. Knotted up at 4 with first place in the NL West on the line. I knew he blew the save in the last game, but Camilo Duvall is our best reliever, and if there's one guy who I trust to not let up a run, even with the extra innings runner, it's him, of course. 42 of 47 now in save ops on the year, as he will face off against Xander Bogaerts. The 1-2. This one is flown into center. Good start. Rodriguez is under it. He will make the play. The runner will not tag up. Probably the right decision, even though Kyler doesn't have a super strong arm. But they do get the first out. Count is even. 2-2 for Manny Machado. Grounds it to third. That will advance the runner. But more importantly, the Giants get the second out. So the Padres are still going to need a base hit here from Fernando Tatis if they want to take the lead. 2-2 here for Tatis. Swing and a miss on the slider. Camilo Duvall gets through the 10th unscathed as it remains tied at 4. And now the Giants have a perfect opportunity to get a walk-off. Not only did they have the extra innings runner, but guess who it is? Tommy Rogers. If there's anybody you want on base here, it's him. And then we've got the 2, 3, 4 hitters due up, our best offensive players. This is a golden opportunity, which is exactly why we're going to screw it up. Jun-Hoo Lee, 3-1 pitch, hits it high and deep into left center. But that one will be caught, and we are going to tag up Tommy. He is safe. So now, if this ball is hit reasonably hard into play by Munetaka Murakami, we can end the game. Can Murakami, who's 0 for 4, be the hero as he hits that one well, but he swings a little bit too early, it's foul. If that ball was fair, it's game over, whether it's caught by the right fielder or not. Following pitch, the 1-2, swinging a drive into right field, and this game is over. He didn't swing too early this time. A walk-off home run for the red-hot third baseman, Munetaka Murakami, with his 29th of the year, and the Giants walk it off in back-to-back games. They will hold on to first place in the National League West. A big swing for Munetaka Murakami to win it in 10. So ultimately, we end up taking 2 of 3 in this series against San Diego, and we go into our final 9 games of the regular season up by 1.5 over the Padres. This was a massive win for us. We had to win these last 2 games in order to hold on to the division lead, and we do just that. Shout out to Munetaka Murakami, who absolutely obliterates that ball into right field. The offense was up and down, only 8 hits, but we did manage 6 runs, and we had a lot of power in this game. Homer from Rogers, homer from Crawford. Obviously, the game winner for Munetaka Murakami in the bottom half of the inning. Mason Miller had an okay start. The second inning was rocky. He let up a number of base runners, but other than that, he really wasn't too bad. And then the bullpen did a really good job. Camilo Doval has 2 consecutive wins in a row, oddly enough. He only had 1 win the entire year, and now he heads 2 more in consecutive games. So with that, we are 92-61, game and a half ahead of the Padres. And look at this, we've officially clinched the playoffs. That's worth celebrating. It was always a given, but still, we are officially in the playoffs for the first time in this series. So no matter what happens the rest of the regular season, we will be playing playoff ball. We're 2.5 games behind the Cubs, though, for the number 2 seed. I don't think winning the division matters that much, again, unless we get the 2. So we've got some work to do. Obviously, the Padres play the Cubs, so it's kind of bittersweet because we need both of them to lose. We might be better off, again, with San Diego winning some of those games. But again, we can really only focus on us, so we're going to really look to play well here against Arizona while the Padres head to Wrigley against the Cubs. San Diego already won the first game, so that might be good. It might be bad. It means the gap for the division lead has shrunk, but the gap for the number 2 seed has also shrunk. So we have less overall margin for error, but we have a little more wiggle room to try to get up to the top. But again, I don't really want to worry about the Padres and Cubs matchups too much because there's only so much that we can control. The Diamondbacks are playing for their playoff lives. If they lose this game, there's a chance they're out of the playoffs entirely. So obviously they have a lot to play for. 6 of our 9 final games here in the regular season will be against Arizona, so we'll be seeing these guys quite a bit down the stretch, and I'd rather have them eliminated from the playoffs sooner rather than later. That way their final few games aren't really going to matter to them, and we'll have the upper hand in beating them. But in this game, at least, the Diamondbacks are certainly going to be putting their best foot forward as we take a look at both lineups today. 1-9, Tommy Rogers back in the number 1 spot, playing in center field after the team's day off. Ryan Nelson, the righty, will be on the bump for Arizona. His 20th start of the year. He's thrown just under 100 innings with an ERA at 4.72 and a whip at around 1.5. Tommy Rogers will get this one started. He's working the count, 7th pitch of the at-bat, and he crushes it into right field. If it's fair, it's gone, and it's foul. He swung a little bit late on the 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Now up to the 9th pitch of the at-bat. He launches a rocket to short, 100 off the bat. But Geraldo Perdomo makes the play for the first out of the inning. Jun-Hoo Lee scrapes this one down the line. It gets by the first baseman, Nick Castellanos. Lee is headed for second. Bold. But he is safe as Corbin Carroll's not able to get to it quick enough in right. Runner in scoring position and a full count here for Munetaka Murakami. He draws a walk. Base runner here for San Francisco. They've got 2 on, 1 out. For Stone Garrett, who's ahead 3-1. Gets a piece of this one into the gap, and that should score both of the runners. Lee is safe. It's 1-0. Murakami heads home. He's safe. It's 2-0. Another big hit from Stone Garrett. I'm excited to see him come playoff time because, again, big-time players make big-time plays, and he continues to deliver huge hits for us. Garrett at third now for Jonathan India. That one's up the middle for a hit. Garrett scores, and the lead increases for the Giants as it's now 3-0. Talk about a great start offensively to this game. We'll see if they can keep it going as that brings up Blake Sable. He's ahead 2-1. Up the middle, another hit. The offense is just going to keep on coming. Pause. For the Giants, they get 2 more runners aboard here, 2 away. For Kyler Rodriguez, he launches it into left center. No doubt about this one. The Giants have completely broken the door open here in the first inning of this game as it is 6-0. Kyler with his 8th home run of the year. Sure, he's been a little inconsistent this year, but he's gotten better as the year has gone along with one of his most impressive swings of the year. Ryan Nelson's not even going to make it out of the first inning. He'll be replaced by the lefty, Yu-Min Lin. A couple years ago, we faced off against Lin in his debut, and he performed really well in that game. Since then, things haven't really gone well, though. He has an ERA in the 7s, and there's a reason why he's moved over to the bullpen. Elliot Ramos flies out to right, but not before the Giants bat around. Everybody in the order got in a bat in that inning, and they get 6. Plenty of run support early on for Kyle Harrison, so it should be a pretty stress-free day for him. 2.88 ERA, 1.14 whip. I would argue he's been the most consistent pitcher for us this year, now ahead of Webb and Savale as he strikes out Perdomo. Jorge Barosa is up now. He gets that one by Murakami. That goes for a single into left. Arizona's got to stack some base runners. Obviously, it's a steep deficit that they've got to get through, but we're still in the first inning. Baseball's a weird sport. Thomas Noble, the rookie, drafted in the 3rd round of last year's draft, flies out to center. It's caught by Tommy Rogers, and that'll wrap up the first inning. Pretty good start across the board for the Giants. They lead at 6-0. That brings us into the second. Top of the order up for the Giants, and we start with Tommy Rogers. And this time he makes sure to keep the ball fair. Tosses the bat towards the Arizona dugout as that one is long gone into one of the bullpens, and it's now 7-0. Homer number 19 on the year for Tom Tom. His power continues to be so impressive. That's the biggest asset of his game right now, other than his speed. His slugging percentage, best on the roster, I think it's at like .560 right now. That is absurd for an 18-year-old. He'd be on pace for around 100 extra base hits if he played the entire year. And we're not done. 2 away for Stone Garrett, who launches it into straightaway center. That one is gone, and it is now 8-0 San Francisco. This game has gotten ugly and fast. Number 15 on the year for Garrett. That one goes .457. A moonshot for Stone Garrett. This offense looks unbelievable. Give San Francisco credit with the inconsistencies that we've dealt with at the plate this year. In the month of September, the offense, for the most part, has been brilliant. As J.P. Crawford bloops a single into left, clearly not done adding base runners. We'll see if they can drive in another run. Jonathan India sends this one into right. Carroll cannot make the play, and the ball gets by him. Everybody's got to keep it moving. Crawford rounds third. He's headed home. Jonathan India, he's rounding third, looking for the inside the Parker, but he realizes his mistake, and he is now in a pickle. Can the Diamondbacks look to tag him out? India still is the play alive, and he's eventually tagged by Eugenio Suarez, but not before bringing home a run off of an RBI triple. And, of course, the 2 homers prior to make it 9-0 as Castellanos goes down looking. I'm expecting the Nick Castellanos homer, considering we've had a tragedy today, that being Arizona's pitching. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. singles into center. I don't want the Diamondbacks to get too many base runners and get some runs over the next couple innings, even though we're up by 9. Again, I don't want them to get comfortable. If we can score 9 runs in 2 innings, they can do it in 7. As Eugenio Suarez draws a walk. 2 on, 2 away. Pretty big at bat here for the number 9 hitter, Adrian Del Castillo, the catcher. His first at bat of the season as he chases the outside slider. That was not his pitch. Good job there by Kyle Harrison to fool him And through 2, we've got quite the score. 9-0 San Francisco into the 3rd. Will this be the inning where Arizona's pitching staff looks somewhat competent? Kyler Rodriguez homered back in the 1st with another base hit. He thought about 2, but let's calm down here. He heads back to 1st with a single. That'll bring up Heliot Ramos now, the number 9 hitter. And Ramos crushes this one past Perdomo. Everybody on our team has gotten on base today. We're in the 3rd inning. That's remarkable. Tommy Rogers puts this one on the ground. This should be 2, and it will. An inning-ending double play. The Giants don't score in that inning as the Diamondbacks actually had a decent enough inning pitching-wise. They did let up the 2 hits, but nobody scored as that brings us bottom 3. 1-1 for Jorge Barrosa, swinging a miss on the fastball, and on the swing, Barrosa appeared to hurt his midsection, so he's going to be taken out of the game. He'll be replaced by the regular catcher, Gabriel Moreno, who can play left field, so I imagine this is not just him coming in as a pinch hitter. Rather, he's going to stay in the outfield the rest of the game. He ends up swinging at a pitch he shouldn't have, grounds it to second. Jonathan India makes the play, and that is the first out of the inning. 2 away now for the former Rookie of the Year, Corbin Carroll, and he goes down on the circle change. Kyle Harrison has taken advantage of these lefty-on-lefty matchups today, as that brings us into the 4th. Speaking of lefty-on-lefty, Jun-Hoo Lee draws a walk. You don't see Jun-Hoo Lee getting taken advantage of much by lefties, considering his contact against lefties is 99. J.P. Crawford flies this one into center with 2 away, and it will be caught to wrap up the inning. Another scoreless frame for Yu Min Lin. Still a 9-run deficit, though, as we go bottom 4. Castellanos up the middle. That one gets by Crawford. I feel like he should have made a better effort diving for that ball, possibly, rather than letting him get by him. But we're up 9-0. I'm not going to get on him for that. So that'll bring up Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who puts it right on the ground. Crawford over to India. He gets it over to Rodriguez. 6-4-3, inning-ending double play. 4 scoreless for Harrison. That moves us into the 5th. Yu Min Lin was actually starting to pitch pretty well. I would have kept him in for another inning, but they will shift over to another lefty in Blake Walston. He'll face off against Kyler Rodriguez. He's had a really good start to the game, 2 for 2. Looking for another hit off of the lefty, and it looks like he will. Into the corner and left. It's going to roll to the wall, and he is into second with a double. Rodriguez, a triple shy of the cycle. He'll certainly get at least 1, maybe 2 opportunities in order to do so. And he is in scoring position with 2 away for Heliot Ramos. The 2-1, this one is lined into right, and it will be caught. Another scoreless frame from the Giants, who still have not scored since the 2nd, but they hold on to their commanding 9-0 lead. Bottom 5, Eugenio Suarez strikes out. I'm not really sure how long I want Kyle Harrison to go, because on one hand, we're up by 9. We don't need to keep him out there for that long, but on the other hand, he's cruising. Why not keep him out there and continue to build his confidence going into the playoffs as he strikes out Del Castillo on the slider again? With how well Kyle Harrison has pitched, I almost want to see him go through a full start. Obviously, things get rocky. We will pull him quickly, but I want to keep him in there. Tommy Rogers here in the 6th gets that by Perdomo for a base hit. Another multi-hit game for Tommy Rogers. That has been very common throughout the month of September. He has been an on-base machine, and when he's on base, we know he is a threat to run. Jun-Hoo Lee with a liner into right for a single. Tommy was going, and that could have been bad news if Castellanos makes the play at first. That's a double play, but now there's runners on the corners, nobody out. Big opportunity to add to the lead as Murakami flies this one into center. Christoph Hornsworth, their international free agent signing from season 1, will make the play, but that is more than enough room for the speedster to score. Tommy is safe, and the Giants are in the double figures. It's now 10-0, their first run since the 2nd. Stone Garrett puts it on the ground with 1 away. This should be a double play, and it is. 3-6-3. Good job there by Castellanos to help turn 2. Giants add another run, though, as we go bottom 6. Harrison looking to retire the side again versus Corbin Carroll, who goes down looking on the circle change. These lefties have looked atrocious in this game. Kyle Harrison is eating them for breakfast. We're going to move through the rest of this game a lot quicker for obvious reasons. If it gets close, we'll highlight the comeback. Into the 7th, Thomas Noble leads off the inning with a hit for Arizona. As I said, I want to keep Kyle Harrison in there, but if he allows a base runner, it's probably just smart to take him out. We're up by 10. I don't want to wear his arm out. He'll be replaced by Yaniel de los Santos, and I think over the last 2 innings, we might try to get somebody like Fernando Molina in there. That way he can get more experience, especially going more than 1 inning. Gurriel puts it on the ground, double play. That'll wrap up the frame. Good work from Yaniel de los Santos as that brings us into the 8th. It's actually going to be Michael Kopech instead. Molina was a little worn out, so I figured we'll just go to Kopech here to look to get through these 2 innings and get us out of this game pretty quickly. Kopech has struggled since the trade deadline when we acquired him, so the thought is, let's maybe build his confidence up a little bit. What a play there at short by Crawford. Holy moly. We'll travel to the bottom of the 9th now. Same score, 2 away. Corbin Carroll strikes out again for probably about the 12th time in this game as the Giants win it 10-0. We scored 9 in the first 2 innings. From there, we didn't get much else from the offense, but we obviously didn't need to. We hit the ball really well early. Multiple hits for Rogers, Lee, Garrett, Crawford, and India. Number of guys went deep. Rodriguez had 3 hits, including a homer himself. Rogers went yard. Garrett went yard. Kyle Harrison with a really good start. 6 innings. Didn't allow any runs. Even in a game that really wasn't high stakes or high pressure for him, it was still good to see him throwing well. Ryan Nelson was a train wreck. Their bullpen wasn't too bad, though, allowing 3 innings the rest of the way. But it didn't matter when your starter does not make it out of the first. Overall, great win. Everything was clicking there. We're now 93-61. We're going to wrap up the rest of the series here on the road against Arizona. We get to see Blake Snell during the last game, so that'll be interesting, as we're now 2 up over the Padres. Into game 2. No score into the 8th. I see our offense has continued their cold streak from the end of game 1, and Arizona still has not scored in the entire series. Sabal lines it into left with the bases loaded. We're going to send the runner. That's Garrett. He is safe. Oh my God, we actually scored with the bases loaded. We needed to get out in order to do it, but hey, I will take it. If we score with the bases loaded, it's a win no matter how it happens. Peguero flies this one into right center. It is caught by Carroll. And again, for most teams, when the bases are loaded and there's only 1 out, you're looking for more than 1 run. But for us, that's a win. Bottom 9, Robbie Ray is going for the shutout, the former Diamondback. I'm tempted to take him out because it is a 1-run game, but Robbie Ray has been on a tear. He just wrapped up a complete game shutout against the Pirates. He does allow a base hit here to Emmanuel Rivera. Now that the tying run is on base, I think I just trust Camilo Doval a little bit more. As good as Robbie Ray has been over his last 2 starts, and my goodness, he is peaking at the right time of the season. And there needs to be no conversations about shortening the rotation for the postseason. Robbie Ray is pitching for us in October. Unless we go to the wild card round and lose, then maybe not. But otherwise, he will. Regardless, we're putting Camilo Doval in now because I trust him a little bit more to get us out of this inning and win us the game. Tying run is aboard. Nobody out. Winning run at the plate. Ketel Marte, base hit up the middle. The infield was playing in. And that proves to backfire. Not that it was a bad decision per se, given the circumstances. But now the winning run is aboard as that one is fouled off of Blake Sabal, and he's a little bit banged up. It looks like his forehead area. So he's going to be taken out of the game. I almost pinch hit Patrick Bailey in the 9th. Thank goodness I didn't, because now he's available off the bench and we can put him in. 1-2 here for Noble with nobody out. Swing and a miss on the cutter. Big out for Camilo Doval. And the Giants, as they look to get another one here with Castellanos into no man's land. That'll shift towards foul territory. Stone Garrett is under it. That's 2. Let's see if we can get one more here. Finish the job. It's Christoph Hornsworth. The 1-1. Grounded to second. India makes the play. Throw to first is in time, and that'll do it. 4 wins in a row for the Giants. They take the first 2 against Arizona, who now officially has been eliminated from playoff contention. And they have no one to blame but themselves. They've scored 0 runs through the first 2 games. Robbie Ray was brilliant. 17 consecutive scoreless innings in today's episode. The offense got base runners. I'll give them that. 10 hits, 3 walks. We just didn't do anything with the base runners other than the sac fly in the 8th. The problem is Arizona's offense has been, well, completely useless. Zach Gallen was awesome, but he still takes the loss for the Diamondbacks. So Blake Sabal bruised his forehead. He's probably going to miss a game or 2 as we win the last one 11-1. Another blowout. Great start from Logan Webb. Blake Snell, not so much. We had 16 hits. Everybody was producing. Crawford goes deep. 4 RBIs for him. 2 for Matos. 2 for Murakami. 3 for Peguero, as Webb nearly goes the entire way, while Blake Snell was not so good. So we're 95 and 61. We're adding to the lead within the division, but I will point out the Padres are still only 2 back. They ended up winning 3 of 4 against the Cubs, which again, honestly might be a good thing, because now we are tied with the Cubs for the 2nd seed. As much as I don't want the Padres to win these games and win this division, the Cubs might be the team we need to worry about more, because again, there's a bigger gap between the 2nd seed and the 3rd seed than the 3rd seed and the 4th seed. So to be honest, at this point the rest of the way, I think we're going to be following the Cubs a little bit closer than the Padres, and that'll be in the next episode, wrapping up the regular season, looking to clinch the division, and a first-round bye. Let's see if we can do it with 6 games to go at home against Milwaukee and Arizona. Hope everybody enjoyed. I know it was a long one, but we had a lot to cover. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.